Well, hello from Birmingham, the NEC, hello from MACH 2022, but more importantly, welcome to the podcast. I'm joined by some really good friends. Gio, everyone knows Gio, Chloe, and
hello,
Lady Vickers. How are we all?
Yeah, great, wonderful. It's Wednesday.
I can't believe it. Where's it gone? Where has the time gone?
I know.
Before we get into the podcast, Lindsay, you got a message from our friends at Interco.
The ever popular voiceover voice. Right, this podcast is sponsored by Interco Special Steels and Alloys. Interco is one of the largest independent distribution and stockholders of special steels and alloys, with £18 million worth of stock available to support its customers' every need. With this high level of stock availability, it results in a very quick turnaround and delivery times, with worldwide distribution by road, sea or air. Over 22 grades of stainless steel, tool steel and nickel alloys, including solid round bars, plate, cold sawn blocks and rings are available. It boasts a full ISO 9001 quality management system and is very committed and proactive. Teams will find solutions for your raw material needs. So please do give the sales team a call or visit their website www.interco.co.uk/special steels alloys to find out more. Reliability, customer service, performance and quality is guaranteed.
Lindsay, the consummate professional. Round of applause.
Woo! No, they are genuinely a fabulous company.
What else have you got to tell us about Interco? What's happening tomorrow?
Well, Interco have joined us on our stand for the whole week at MACH. We've been learning a lot about the materials during the week. You can see the girls are showing off the Interco caps. But tomorrow, more importantly, Joe, we're going to be going live with Interco at 11:30. 11, we're going to be wetting the appetite.
Sorry, Gio, what time? Half 11 or half 11?
Half 11.
Half 11.
Half
It's the
11.
H. It's the H.
Half 4. But yeah, half 11. We're going to be looking at ways to cut difficult materials. So we're going to be starting off on the open mine stand. And we looked at the component today. It's such a complex component. We're going to be looking at the strategies behind cutting that complex component. Then Paul's going to be discussing that with Open Mind. Then we're going to be coming back to our stand where, Joe, you'll be discussing the cutting strategies of the stem component that's actually on the MTD stand. Now, that component is made from H13, but we're going to be asking David, what strategies would you use to cut it if it was F55 Super Duplex? So it's a very educational show.
Gio, how much does it weigh?
I can't say.
There's a big competition.
And once we've done all of the education, we're going to be talking to Ruth and Doug from Interco to find out more about Interco, about the company, about the stock, about the people behind the company. And it's going to be a real education. I would strongly recommend to tune in.
There is a competition going on that as well. So if you do pass the stand, how much does it weigh? And then you win in kg in pounds.
Yeah.
And you win basically
So
the
you
weight
win,
of it in pounds.
I nearly said it then. I nearly said it.
Just don't try and pick it up because you might strain your back.
Can I just mention one thing? That component was supposed to have been about 5 times the size of that. And when Paul realised it was a quarter of the size, he was so happy because it saved him 3/4 of the money.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
So coming up in the next, 55 minutes or so, we're going to be joined by various members of the MTD team, Phil Corley, Steve Patterson, James Leake and Seam Schickle, should they all get here in time.
And any
Obviously,
guests that we
it's a busy
may
show.
See you along the way.
Fine.
Exactly. But
Absolutely.
Chloe, before you run off, tell us about your day. What you've been doing.
So today was my first ever live show. So I know.
You nailed it.
She was really good.
Nailed
Thank
it.
you. I didn't swear. I didn't fluff up. I was buzzing afterwards, and John, who I was interviewing, was just so fantastic and a pleasure,
Nice
a real
guy.
pleasure to work with. Yeah, it was a fantastic day. Really good.
What else you been doing? Is that all you've done?
So also I went with
Yeah.
Rowan. Yeah, no, that's not all I've
Yeah.
done. I went with Rowan to do some case studies on some Goering milling cutters, some grooving tools and some diamond coated cutters, and they look gorgeous tools to use. I was also with Colin on Lang looking at their work holding. They've also got a new work holding complex which actually fits in the tool holder. So what it is it comes over clamps over your vise, turns, takes the whole vise and the component within the vise out and stores it in your tool cabinet. So you can have eight or nine in there, and you can run lights out. You can keep going, turn up to work the next day, and you've got 16 brand new components that have ran lights out. It was just a fabulous day.
Chloe, do you want a job?
No.
Not for us, you already work for us.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what do you mean?
That's the best sales pitch I've heard of the day.
Well, if they want more videos, they know who to come to, don't they?
Gio, how about yourself? What have you been doing?
I think it's been a really another brilliant day, really, Joe. I can't believe it's Wednesday. I was joined Lindsay and Paul on the Star stand today for a live, which was excellent.
Oh, it was great.
We were reviewing all of the Star sliding head machines and kind of were educated for the different applications that they lent themselves to. We were looking at the milling capabilities of the sliding head machines, because a lot of people associate sliding head machines with turning technology, but it's not the case anymore. They're like a milling machine, just as much as a turning machine.
Absolutely. We've done 2 this week from Star GB, and the one I did actually said they've got a customer who's essentially using. They're using it as a bar feeder, so they're using it as a VMC. They used to make the parts on the VMC.
Mill turn. They're using it as a mill
exactly
turn.
that.
It's fantastic what they can do with these machines now, can't they?
Well, we're doing a live podcast, and
hello.
Lindsay's taking a selfie with yet another fan.
Yeah. Fans
For you watching on YouTube, Facebook, you'll get the benefit of that. But
Sorry, everyone.
that's brilliant.
I don't know.
Welcome back,
Can
Lindsay.
I just say this is like the first? I'm really embarrassed because this is the first time I've had this.
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Fantastic.
fangirling.
And Joe, what have you been up to today? Actually, this week?
I've been taking
embarrassed.
selfies. Not as many as Lindsay.
Oh my God, look at the
but no,
camera.
we're speaking to Phil
So
Corey
embarrassed.
shortly from Heimer. We've done a video from Heimer, and we know what their quality, their product stands for. It stands for quality, precision, all the stuff we already know. But Phil is going to be talking us through essentially what we've done. But I know Lindsay learned a lot from Heimer also.
Oh, honestly, that stand, they're just so lovely. I've got a lot of time for Phil. Yeah, it's basically what I learn is how important it is to do your preparation before you start and get cutting that piece of metal. And he's just said, like, the cost of tooling, if you don't get it right first time, you're tooling, everything's off. And he said one guy had to replace the spindle something like 3 times in 3 months. It was ridiculous, and he hasn't had to replace the spindle in years since.
So I did a couple of videos at Heimer a couple of weeks ago, and obviously being an engineer, I didn't realise how important it is to balance your tool. And I said to Ian, why do people balance their tool? And he looked at me in disbelief as if to say, you've never balanced your tool. And he showed me how easy it was, and he balanced the tool. We got the correct precision of the tool, and then he put just a little tiny weight, I think it was 0.6 of a gram, and it just showed you how much it knocked the spindle out and how precise that these tool balancing machines are, and every machine shop should have one.
Yeah, they're very popular.
Sales pitch.
There we go.
We better get you off this podcast before you get job offers. But before you do go, I know Rowan's eager to join us. Chloe, what's been the highlight of MACH so far? Let's keep it about the show, if you don't mind.
I was going to say my blisters on Monday, but we'll go. I just think seeing everybody back in the same place and seeing everybody interacting with everybody, seeing everybody's new technology, because 4 years is such a long time for new technology to come out and for everybody to be showcasing it all in the same place, just down the road, for everybody to always come and see is just the highlight of 2022. So yeah, what I'll do now is I'll skip out and let Rowan come on.
If you don't mind.
No problem.
He's aware.
Pleasure, Chloe.
Just give him a tap.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
She's fabulous.
I'm having a
Chloe,
bit.
well done.
Thanks,
Well done on the
guys.
live. Well done. And for all the people watching and listening to this podcast, please do send us some questions. We'll endeavour to answer them.
How you doing, mate? Hello. Hello, yeah.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Rowan, welcome. Sorry to pull you away from the bar.
It's all right. I wasn't drinking. I was talking. It's all right. I was chatting to Steve
He's
from
professional. He's the real professional.
He is technical. Can I just ask you a quick question about material?
Absolutely, if you want, mate.
Can you explain why the Super Duplex is not a hard material?
Well, Super Duplex as well as all the other heat-resistant super alloys. We were talking about this just now about
Yeah.
Hypermill. That's why you've now tried to drop me in it. Well, it's not a hard material like a hardened steel. Obviously, gets heat treated and gets a lot harder. You get a higher Rockwell and whatnot. Heat-resistant super alloys are difficult to cut. They're not hard. They're not hard not because they're hard, but because of their heat resistance. So they have a low coefficient of thermal diffusivity, which is all about how quickly the heat will travel through the material. So if you touched a heat-resistant steel product, it would feel warmer. If you, rather than touching it, so the standard steel would feel colder because it's conducting the heat away a lot quicker. That means that's why steel you can machine dry, because you're not worried about. Because all the heat can go into the chip, it can take on the heat a lot easier. Whereas like titaniums or heat-resistant steel products, you need to cut with coolant because they will not conduct the heat away from the tool. The tool will, obviously you'll get super high temperatures, 1200, 2000, I don't know what the temperature
He's a genius.
is.
He's a genius.
Anyway,
He's a genius.
Is that a good enough information?
For more information, go to rowan.com.
Patented.
But no, joking aside, it's a perception. People talk about titanium being hard. It's actually quite soft, titanium.
That's why you've got aluminium cutting geometry on your titanium
Quite
cutters.
often you do, that's absolutely right.
They need to be sharper edges because it's sticky like aluminium because it's softer.
Yeah, so just a few shout-outs. Douglas Crooks, one of your friends, Gio?
Yep, from
On
Interco.
YouTube. Thanks for the continued support. Well, I'd like to echo that to Interco. Thank you for your continued support.
And I hope Leslie's having a nice holiday and I hope he's watching this live stream.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
I'm sure he is, yeah. So you guys
Thank
will
you.
put-
I think he's going to
Interco
be
for
really
the
impressed
support.
with that explanation. And I think you need to come onto the live stream tomorrow for
we might do.
Interco.
We'll have a go. Well, he's a bit of an ethereal character. I can't wait to meet Les Price.
So,
Priest.
Les Priest.
what you've been doing today, I know you joined me on Heimer. Perhaps you can tell our wonderful viewers what's been going on.
Yeah, so today we live streamed at Heimer for I only did it for about 15 minutes. You guys have been working a lot harder than me. But we started on talking about tool balancing, which I've used that Heimer tool balancer a lot at a previous company. And they're really easy to use. And what I love about the Heimer tools actually, or the Heimer balancing offerings, they offer balancing rings, which not many people have. Normally they have heat shrink holders with tapped holes in, so you put grub screws in from different materials, different densities and different weights to offset the tools, but you basically, there are some times where you cannot balance the tool that way because it's in an awkward angle and you can't quite get the right grub screw in the right place, whereas these rings are fantastic because they're two offset weights which you can control the angle of those weights. So if you add one in this direction, one in that direction, the result is a slightly lower weight in the angle between them. So it's a lovely continuous way of balancing a tool versus the discrete put a grub screw here, put a grub screw here.
Is it simple? Does it simplify the process, Rowan?
So the balancing machine, you bang a tool in, you press go, you flip it 180, press go again to eliminate the out of balance you get from in the spindle, and then it just says if you said it, say I want to do grub screws, or I want to drill the holder, or I want to use rings, and if you say I want to use rings, it'll say get this ring, you get the ring. It says put one ring at this angle, one ring at this angle. You close the door, click one of the angles. It'll actuate the tool to the right angle. You put the ring on. There's a laser guide that lines up a little etch on the ring. It's easy.
How long does that take?
About minutes, 2-3 minutes.
Brilliant.
I spoke to Phil actually, and he was just saying that we want to simplify it for the user, and I think that's hopefully like what you've just explained there. He's just like our aim is just to simplify life on that shop floor, and I think you have just explained that perfectly.
It's so easy to use. Anyone can use it.
Dun.
Definitely. You don't have to be a machinist. Anyone can jump on it. It's basically.
Could I do it?
You definitely. If you can line something up with a laser just by looking at it, then you can definitely do it.
Wow. Perfect.
Yeah. So
It's what I like about Heimer, and I won't steal Phil's thunder, but it's not just one product. It's a suite of products that help you become efficient within the machining process.
And it's quite a modest stand, isn't it, for such a large company that do loads of fantastic machine accessories that unlock the potential in machines.
I think the issue you got if you bought everything, you need to hire the whole hole.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think these guys, they're event professionals. Though they were saying they do like 200 events a year. So I think they know what they're doing when it comes to.
So what experience did you have with that product range?
I was balancing a number of tool holders from the previous company I was working at. So they manufactured tool holders, and we were for another store. So they had a contract with a big business that were ordering loads of tool holders. They wanted them to balance to a tighter tolerance than they would come out of the factory. So we basically take all the peripherals off, all the pulse studs, the collets, everything. We just balance the bases. But obviously, the balancing the base is just a dumb piece of metal. You need to add the collet, the nut. As soon as you assemble the whole thing, then actually really it should be balanced again.
And in your opinion, how important is balancing your tools? And a lot of people don't even bother with that at all. I'd say 80-90% of people don't balance their tools.
No, they don't, and I don't know why it's so overlooked. I mean, obviously, the first thing if I was running a machine shop to get would be a presetter to set tools off the machine, but and unlock spindle time that you could be using.
Reduce that spindle time.
But the second thing you might look at if you're running maybe the higher speeds, or you've got nice machines they're very expensive investments. And if you want to protect that spindle, you don't want to be wearing down the bearings, especially newer machines with higher spindle speeds with ceramic bearings. Those ceramic bearings are going to be quite brittle, so you need to make sure that every tool you put in that spindle is going to be balanced. I mean, Ian Moulton mentioned that if you have a car and you get the tyres changed on your car, you get the wheels balanced.
Yeah.
You don't ever say, "Oh, don't balance that for me."
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the same
he was
thing with
just
the
saying
machine
that
tool.
someone had to have their spindle changed 3 times over a really short period, and now he's not had to because of that very reason. So.
Exactly. So definitely you need
Phil's
to balance
here.
the tool.
Phil's here.
Is he? Yeah, Phil
He's
Cooley. Yeah, he's over there. He's going to have a quick
Phil will
chat.
be joining us shortly. But
Yeah.
before we do, we need to speak to Mr. Deadman, another member of the team. Rowan, before you go, highlight to MACH so far, about if we can keep it about the show.
So I've really enjoyed looking at. I mean, actually, Heimbach was quite exciting. Just seeing all the quick change collets all in one place was quite nice.
Did you enjoy the casino last night? I know that's outside of the show.
I
is that-
did, yeah. I did
No, we're not talking
Did you go to the casino?
No, absolutely not. I went to just to look.
We're getting the gossip now.
I'll tell you, one thing I did really enjoy was talking about gear design and manufacture with a guy called Mike Fish and Mark Manning. I was just after talking to Richard Turner on the Genos M460V 5-axis machine, which is, they call it entry level, but you can achieve the tightest tolerances on spiral bevel gears, which are very complex products to make. And I had a fascinating conversation with those guys about gear, about cam and manufacturing these really precise products. So that was my
he
highlight.
loved that. He went. I love doing nerd to nerd talk.
Yeah, exactly.
You did.
Sorry about
didn't
that. You guys do the business
not
talk. I do the nerdy
Oh
talk.
no, we love it. We love
Rowan, you're
the talk.
brilliant.
Thanks for joining us. I will say,
Fantastic.
please gamble responsibly for everyone listening to the
Well, I
podcast.
just want to finish it with this. Rowan last night was actually working out all the statistics of winning, and then I've come onto the stand this morning, and he's actually got the percentage rates for every single
I
gambling
didn't calculate
activity.
those.
You weren't far off though.
So blackjack's 0.5% house edge. Yeah,
I can predict that you're going to
Genius.
lose more often than you're going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Rowan, absolute pleasure, mate.
Rowan,
Brilliant.
thank you.
Brilliant.
If you can grab Mark for me, that'd
I'll
be
go. I'll get hold of Mark for you. There you go.
that
Easy.
would be
Thank you,
wonderful.
guys.
But yeah, no. So everyone listen to the podcast. Yep. Well done,
He's a
Rowan.
genius. He's a genius.
Please do send your questions in. It'd be good to hear from you at home. We've got Phil Crawley, Tim Patterson, James Leake, and Steve Schickle all coming up after Mark. But Mark, welcome. How's today been for you? What have you been doing?
I've been sitting down on that couch most of the time. It's been fantastic. But no, seriously, we had a wonderful Planet meeting, didn't we, at NCMT,
Yeah.
talking about Kino technology. They're fantastic machines.
They like stripping down their machines, don't they? They like taking all the guarding off and just showing everyone how strong their machines are, and they're not afraid to show off the insides of their machines because they've got so much confidence, and I like that.
I think it's the first time they've actually shown an EDM machine with the as I
guarding.
would say, showing the guts basically, and it shows you the quality of the machines and what you're actually buying into, because you're trying to sort of justify the expense of a Makino, but they're built to a quality level that if you want high-end quality, well, you know yourself, you've seen some Makinos.
You've been a busy boy in these lives, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been quite popular. I don't understand why personally. We've done Sodic, haven't we, yesterday, which was a fantastic tour. Really enjoyed that.
Such a good, lovely
Sarah
company.
Tizet and Katie Archibald giving a Hope bike away, which is fantastic for charity. I think about £55,000 they've done for charity.
Oh, wonderful.
We've done a Kuma, didn't we, with NCMT, it's been Hexagon as well. We've done Hexagon, looking at all their metrology and their software, how it integrates. So yeah, it's been really busy. But now I'll let it go to the rest of the team now.
What's the highlight for you so far, Mark?
The amount of people here.
Yeah.
My anticipation of my first ever show here was 1992. Yes, I'm the old guy on the block, but I must admit, after 15 shows, I was a bit hesitant about what this show would actually bring and the amount of people. But I think so many people have been excited to get out, look at equipment, talk to people. Obviously, shaking hands as obviously you like.
It's nice. It's nice to be shaking hands again.
My highlight is actually the industry actually being here, supporting UK manufacturing and supporting a lot of the companies that spend a lot of money here.
When was your first Mac?
Did you not hear?
You're not listening, Gio.
1992.
I was going to say, can I guess?
1992, and guys were with respect, probably the majority walking around with beers, burgers, Obviously, having too many beers and all these little curves on the stand.
I don't know what's changed because there's some beers over. Yeah.
It's quite professional, obviously. So with that in mind, they used to I remember just thinking how many people are going to trip over the edge of one of these after a few beers. But the industry's changed, all for the right reasons, and isn't it nice to actually be out and see technology on show?
Oh, yeah.
Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you coming on. If you don't mind grabbing Phil from Heimer for me, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. Okay.
Please give us your shout-outs.
Thank you. Way.
Yeah, before we're joined by Phil, please send us some questions and all your shout-outs. We've got one here, James Smith. MTD, keep up the good work and following you all week. Next time, leave us your company name, James. It'd be good to shout your company out. But Phil, you're going to give your company a shout-out, aren't you? Tell us about Heimer.
Phil, you've got to talk really close into there.
Okay,
Sorry.
really close. Okay. All about the company, the UK or Germany?
Just for the people that don't know of Heimer, just...
Yeah. Okay, so we're a family-owned business, 45 years old, number one in the world in terms of shrinking, balancing technology. Employ around 900 people. We've got a subsidiary for the last 7 years in the UK.
Yeah, and I must say you've done a good job since the UK adoption. It's a really good idea by the Heimer family, and obviously you're spearheading that. So tell us about the journey so far in the UK.
Well, yeah, we'd say we started with their first premises 7 years ago. I was the first employee, and then we just grew the team from there. Then we got the service and the sales office up and running. So, it works very, very well. We're very lean as a company, and we're growing and going forward every year.
So if we bring it down to Mac, what's your impressions of the show?
So far, absolutely fantastic. I'm so pleased that we kept the book in and we went with it, because it's really bringing great results for us, a lot of leads.
Yeah, let's talk about the live we've done today. Tell us how good we were, Phil.
It's a really fun experience, isn't it? It's nerve-wracking, but for us, because we're not professionals, but...
nor are we, don't worry.
No. I'm certainly not a professional.
You like now Gary Lineker when he started GR, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Worse.
Yeah.
And for the people who didn't see the live, you can watch it on our channels after the event, where it's available now to watch. Please go and watch it on YouTube and various other channels. But for the people that didn't see it, Phil, what did we talk about?
Well, we talked about some of the new products. We talked about the special offers and the innovations that are coming from Heimer. We bring out between 8 and 10 new products every year. So this is a great event for us to showcase those innovations.
How much money do you put back into R&D then, Phil?
Good question,
actually, between 8 and 10% of turnover goes back into R&D. And Heimer holds many, many patents worldwide.
And it's still a family-owned business, is that correct?
Yeah.
45 years.
Friends still very much at the helm of the company.
Would you say that is a big part to the success of the company, the fact that you're reinvesting all that money?
What's the line? Go on, tell us the line. Go on.
I remember it now, Liz.
Yeah, we're big enough
we're
to...
a big company, but we're small enough to care.
Brilliant.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the ethos of the business, and the quality wins is not a strap line. It's something that we actually believe in as a business.
Phil, when I was on the shop floor, not that long ago really, working in the aerospace industry, we did not use any balance tooling, and that wasn't uncommon back then. It wasn't uncommon back then at all. That most people were not balancing tools, and I'm just talking to Rowan. I'd say that probably 80% of people still aren't balancing tools.
That's true.
But this mindset is changing, isn't it? You must be seeing the shift in the thought process, because it is so important, isn't it?
It is massively important to the overall process, and I think the machine tool industry now is starting to publish on the machines and on the warranties that you should use balanced tool holders. And for that reason, companies are starting to take it more seriously, and we are selling more units.
Could OEMs go a step further and say, your warranty on this machine would not be valid unless you used balanced tooling?
I think they essentially do, don't they?
It does. It's like a mobile phone contract. Whoever reads halfway down page 16, it's the same thing, right? But there will be normally something written that you have to balance the tool holders.
Different people will know Heimer for different products, it's fair to say. But personally, it was tool holders and shrink fit machines. Yeah. And I was talking to Mike today, I can't remember the number, but how many, you've got dozens of shrink fit machines, it feels.
Sorry, Joe?
How many shrink fit different models do you have?
Well, more than 50.
Incredible.
50 different options. So we're not a one size fits all. You know, it's about finding the tailor-made package for the customer.
Yeah, but that's, I think, down to the success of where you are now then, isn't it really?
Yeah.
You can't just stick to one product. You've got to... It's not...
Evolve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what... And, you know, you've just said how much 8 to 10% in R&D. That's proof. And that's why 45 years later you are where you are today, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what about return of investments? These people that are kind of innovating their own business and investing in your product, what kind of typical return of investments would you expect them to see?
I think if you looked at a tool presetter, for instance, we would say 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
Normally, it's almost a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer.
Just because it doesn't make swath doesn't mean to say it's not a good investment. It can save you a lot of time. And Lindsay, I think we spoke this morning about a customer who didn't used to balance their tools, and every 3 to 4 months they were changing spindles. They balance now, and they've not changed them for literally years.
Can I just say, Phil, I literally just told the viewers exactly that conversation. So it showed at least I was listening.
Thanks, Lindsay.
No, I've literally hammered that message home as well. But I mean, it's a no-brainer, as you say.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Phil, before you go, can we get your highlight of the show so far, please?
We have some really, really positive inquiries. Apart from your visit, some really, really positive inquiries, big packages, multiple machines from the same customers. So there's clearly some investment going on.
Yeah.
Which is really good to see.
Brilliant. Phil, thank you so much for today. Hospitality, as always, from Heimer was exceptional, and thank you for joining us this evening.
And the Yodel Bear. And the Yodel Bear.
Oh, yeah. You're
Okay,
welcome.
thanks, Phil.
Thank you,
Cheers,
Phil.
Phil.
Guys.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely guy.
And joining us next will be Tim Patterson of Hoffman. But before we do, we got another shout
dear.
out.
I don't think.
A shout out to Joe Amos,
Tim.
MTDCNC's amazing apprentice, who was producing the live podcast for the first time. Well done to Joe. And I think that's probably from one of the parents, but thanks all the same.
These guys are
my parents sent the message in. No.
These guys are troublemakers, so this might be, not P.
We've got to keep it clean. We've got to keep it clean.
I'm talking about no, I'm innocent.
Tim, many thanks for
Should we
joining
mention
us.
the photos, Tim?
I'm still traumatised.
That sounds really rude, guys, okay? But no.
So have I, actually, Tim. I've never seen anything like that before.
Oh dear.
It's on Netflix, mate.
Yeah.
So Tim, just to start with, can you introduce yourself and tell us about Hoffman Group, please?
No problem. Tim Paddison. I'm the Managing Director for Hoffman Group UK. So for those that don't really know what Hoffman is, we're a global business, but mainly in Europe, around about a 1.3 billion euro organisation, mainly focused on supporting the manufacturing industry with tooling, equipment, workshop, storage, that kind of thing. But we're really focused on value, not just product.
Gio, I know you look after Hoffman for us. What do you think of the business?
I think it's a business that's grown significantly over the last few years, massively. I can't believe the growth in the last few years, Tim, and I think that you don't just sell products, it's the skill and the knowledge behind them products that make you so successful.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of products out there available. It's not hard to go and find something to buy. For us, it's about adding value into the process. So, is it the right application? Is it the right tooling for that application? Does it drive productivity and efficiency? How does it make our customers more successful in the long run? And that's really where, we're focused, rather than selling some carbide or a cutting.
But you can prove that. I think that's the most important thing about all of this, is the fact that you're not just saying, we can provide you with this, we can provide you with that, and that's fine. Like, I know we're going to talk about it because it's the selling of the product, it's the GSP, but you are literally now, and we always say so often, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. You're measuring it, and you're improving it, and you're giving major money savings to companies back that they have to sign off to say, actually, if we never used you, we'd never have saved that money before.
Absolutely.
Again.
Because it's easy to say, saving money, but it has to be tangible. Oops.
So you gotta go right in the
I have to
microphone.
talk into the mic. It has to be tangible, and our customers, any business wants to be able to monetize that, because at the end of the day, People have to be profitable.
Yeah.
We have to make money and sustainable for the future. So definitely for us, it's not just about talking about it. It's proving it, documenting it, and then using that, as maybe evidence for other businesses, other potential customers to say, we'd like to.
There's a
understand more
company
about
like you'd literally on the hardware you'd save them something like £3,000, and then or the other way around, and then just by cycle time savings, tooling savings, you'd save them like £2,000. So they literally had to sign a piece of paper to say, Hoffman Group have saved me £5,000. That's amazing.
And in Lindsay, it's a good point, because actually the major savings are not in the price of the product.
Yeah.
It's all about the application.
Yeah.
There's an interesting information, you can go out there and Google it, that only 4% of the overall production of the cost of a production facility is the consumable tooling.
Yeah.
So even if you gave them somebody it free, they're only going to save 4%. And often businesses focus so much on saving 10% or 4%.
Yeah.
Why not focus on the whole productivity piece?
Yeah.
10 times the amount of savings, and that's where we try and help.
Yeah, definitely.
So Tim, how significantly have you grown in the last few years? Can you tell our audience?
Yeah, so for those that don't really know, Hoffman have been around for quite a few years, but only as what our parent company would call a commission business. So we had salespeople in the UK, and basically they work remotely and managed from Germany. In 2019, we set up what we call a full service business. We now have a full business unit, and there's been a few obstacles in between 2019 and now, as we all know. But last year we had a record year, around about 20% growth. This year we're about 25% up on last year. And we've got some real strong opportunities in the pipeline, so we're hoping to finish this year above that as well. So
and Lindsay was talking about savings. Now you've launched GSP, which was launched earlier this year or the back end of last year.
Yeah.
Can you tell our audience that maybe have not seen this or have not heard about this, can you tell them about it, please?
Yeah, it's really simple.
It's really simple. It took me about half an hour to explain.
Yeah, is that all? No, it's really simple. Effectively, we will work with the client, the customer. All we need is the opportunities to look at those projects. We will agree with the customer, the saving that we're looking for, and if we don't deliver it, we'll give them a check anyway.
So you're putting your money where your mouth is.
It's as simple as that. It's guaranteed.
Can you do that bar bill?
I've seen the size of the bar bill. I don't know whether you can afford that.
Not Joe's.
Just before...
Mine's okay. Can I just say, he's just brought me this over. If anyone thinks I'm drinking, I'm not. It's called No Secco, just so you know.
Yeah. And for those who didn't see the live stream that we did for you, it's still available on YouTube. In fact, it will be there forever, essentially. But I don't know if anyone saw Gio pounce on Merck Aerospace, a reluctant interviewee, but he's fantastic, wasn't he? Such a great endorsement for GSP.
And that's the proof of it. It's not what we say, it's what the customers say, and I think we was looking at another £20,000 saving as well, where, we had the document, the customer had signed it off. Those are the type of things, they're real tangible, savings for customers. Our focus is, helping our customers be more successful through productivity and efficiency and simplifying the procurement process.
One of what MTDCNC does, one of our videos, is we base it on case studies. And I say this so often, but your best salesperson is your customer. And, we go out, we do case studies for customers, we get their stories. And what you're saying is, you've got a physical customer signing that off. That's a case study that you can go out there and shout about.
Absolutely.
That's what you need to do, and it's for them to shout out about it.
And I know, you guys have done some of those videos for us where, the customers have talked about it. So, for us, it's all about a partnership. It's about joint success. And I think, from a UK perspective, we need to really focus on we can be more successful on the global stage.
Yeah.
And that's about understanding how we more productivity and efficiency.
So Tim, thank you for joining us. Thank
Absolute
you for
pleasure.
your hospitality on the live as well.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
A real pleasure.
Thanks for coming on.
It was PG. We did it okay. It was all PG, wasn't it?
Well, he's going to
Not
get
too
the
bad.
photos out later.
Well, I was just going to say, I
Don't
keep
you-
thinking about the photographs, so I need to,
He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be.
I know, that's the problem. You're absolutely correct. I shouldn't be. Everybody's intrigued now, Lindsay.
They are.
They're on a phone.
Thanks
They
again.
are.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you,
That's Tim Patterson of Hoffman Group UK. Thank you very much.
funny.
So, joining us next is going to be James Lee of Haas Automation. Oh no, Steve Schickel.
It's a room for a small person.
Hello.
Steve, welcome.
How's things? You okay?
Really good. Thanks for joining us. How's the show been for you guys?
Well, do you know what? The first day was a little bit hit and miss, so we were a little bit nervous, but I think today it's certainly made up for it. We've had a lot of leads today, with a lot of existing customers that have given us some good news. There's new projects and things, so yeah, very excited. It's been really good.
Good stuff. What's been the highlight so far? Volume of people,
I would
inquiries?
say the volume. I would say basically the projects that have come have been at more of a serious level. So in the past, we've generally had people that come with like a low-level inquiry. Well, here we've got people who actually got cash ready to buy. So
Wow.
We're jumping the sales process by quite a few steps, which is really good.
Geo, LK Metrology. Tell me about the company.
Well, I think it's a brilliant company. It's been a pleasure to work with you guys, and
And likewise for yourselves as well.
it's been brilliant, and it's been great to be on this journey. I think it's a UK manufactured CMM, and I think that following Brexit, I think all of us need to be more patriotic and start buying British products. But it's good to learn about your product portfolio. We recently had the privilege to visit the new Lotus factory with you a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, Lindsay?
So
I mean, if you could explain that, Lindsay, it's phenomenal.
It's
out of this
it's
world.
amazing,
Absolutely
isn't
brilliant.
it? It's a fantastic facility, and you just put in a bespoke product that. It's like, well, you're better to explain, but the two columns and the way you're measuring, but it's like automated, so it's part of the production process.
Videos coming soon.
Yeah, videos coming soon. That's what I can say about it. I'm like,
Explain
it's
the process.
Yeah.
So basically, Lotus came to us. They were looking at an inline measurement system, and ultimately they were trying to. I mean, Lotus brand is obviously very historical, very famous, but ultimately they were seen as more having track cars. So you buy a car, and it'd have wind-up windows and stuff like that. So they've upped their game a lot with this new Lotus Emira, and ultimately it's a high-quality car. And it's the most accurate car that they've built. So ultimately, from that perspective, they've had to invest a lot in metrology. And ultimately, what they're trying to do is put the measurement process in the manufacturing process. Because typically, from metrology, we're normally seeing it as being as the end of the process, which is a little bit too late. So we actually measure the car. Well,
Twice.
We actually measure the tub first. So the chassis components, there's actually now 4 CMMs at their new Lotus facility on the other side of Norwich. And at the Hethel factory, we've put a twin column CMM in there to measure the car twice. So the car comes in as a tub, we check it first, because obviously if there's anything wrong there, they can rectify it before they start adding a lot more value to it.
I mean, the biggest thing for me, Steve, out of all of that visit, when talking to the guys from Lotus, it wasn't the fact that you were inspecting the car to check that there was something wrong. That inspection process was sending data to manufacturing to actually improve the manufacturing process and streamline it to create a stable process to reduce production costs. People don't look at metrology in this way, do they?
What's the numbers as well? There was some really impressive figures on this.
Yeah, well, perhaps just to take a step back. So typically, when you design and manufacture a brand new vehicle, you've got all your supply chain bringing in new parts, and of course, you don't know how well they're going to fit together. So ultimately, if you can capture that earlier on, you can then start making adjustments and also speak to the supply chain to improve their quality. So obviously, all the pre-production cars, 100% of them have been inspected, which has really shortcutted the whole process to handle the car to make it more accurate. So, and then obviously, they've had a really good success selling this vehicle, so their production rates are going through the roof. So ultimately what they're trying to do now is capture the car a lot faster. So we're getting down to sort of 11 minutes cycle time, and they've got a 20-minute pulse line cycle time, so we're well inside that.
They're making. What were they making? And how many cars is it now?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean,
Yeah.
correct me on this, but I think they were making a couple of thousand cars per year. Now that's been ramped up to more like 5,000 cars per year.
Yeah.
But because they've had such a success, they're now looking to increase that even further.
Yeah.
So who knows?
But they couldn't do that without your new equipment.
That's right, yeah. And obviously, Lotus cars were typically hand-built. Today, there's a lot more automation in there. So a lot more traditional framing line sort of stations. And obviously, metrology has been a key part of it.
I loved that visit, Joe. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I must admit, I'd love to come to that. Thanks for the invite, Gio. And it's probably
And
a
the
good
weather
job.
was good as well.
Absolutely,
We had a
probably a
good
good job. I didn't come that blue. What's that? What's the new sports car called?
So it's the Emira.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the price of it. It's bargain, isn't it? If I was a
Yeah, I bought
probably
two.
an impulse
Well, I've got the
deposit.
Corgi version, and we're just waiting for the Matchbox version to be delivered.
We
as
took
well.
Ian Carver, and
Be
as
nice,
everyone knows, he loves his cars. We couldn't
He
get
does,
him away.
No,
We had such a long journey back home, and Ian, we just couldn't drag him away, could we?
Yeah.
He was loving it.
loves
No, it
his
was
cars.
good. It was really good.
Steve, before we let you go for a well-earned beer, what's been your highlight of the show so far? I know we touched on your inquiry levels, but is it good to be back in the building with like-minded friends?
Yeah, do you know what I really like about shows and exhibitions is that, you know, it's obviously it's an expense. Yeah, we're looking to get a return on our investment, but what I like is that we get to see so many people, whether they're new customers or existing clients, in such a short period of time. You can't buy that. You know, it's magic. And, you know, you rekindle relationships, and certainly over the last couple of years with COVID, you've lost touch with a lot of customers.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been really heartwarming to speak to people.
Reconnecting.
Reconnecting. It's been really good. It's
Reconnecting.
been brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's
Yes.
a pleasure,
Steve.
Good to see you
Lovely
again.
to see you, mate.
And keep doing a great job. So
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Professional
Steve.
as always.
I've just noticed Clive Leonard in the aisles. Hopefully he can join us later. Hey up, James.
Been waiting for my sit now.
Here he is.
Welcome. Welcome.
Bouncy James, wasn't it?
That's me.
You need to go
Bouncy.
really close to this.
no, we'll leave me
I
check.
know, I'm sorry.
All me for the mic. It's easy. But thanks for joining us. Sorry
No,
for
you're
keeping you
welcome.
waiting.
No, that's fine.
Do us a favour, introduce yourself and tell us about Haas Automation UK.
Okay, so I'm James Leet from Haas Automation UK, and I think everybody knows about Haas Automation UK, don't they? I don't need to explain that bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I've got a few questions. Obviously, we'll touch on the F1 elements shortly.
Sure, yeah.
But the level of technology on your stand has been stunning this week, and every time I've walked past, it seems to be packed to the rafters. So you're doing something right.
Well, yeah, I think the brand has done that over the years because it's a brand that's very synonymous for the subcontract industry. It covers a nice range of evolutionary technology. And what's been good for us this week, actually, is a level of customer that have come over and said, we've heard about your brand now. The F1 things help that. There's loads of your machines in the UK, and there's about 11,500.
Wow.
What's all the fuss about? So getting returning customers to the stand, lovely to see them, lovely to hook up with everybody this week. It's a bit of a reunion for the industry, of course, but the real win for us is getting new customers over that have said, okay, we've heard about you guys, what have you got to show us? And yeah, it's been quite refreshing.
We did a lovely case study, didn't we? What? I always struggle.
WAF Group.
Yeah, that was the one.
WAF Group.
Yeah, it's spelled WATH, isn't it? But it's WAF Group. Really,
He was here today,
really
actually.
Nice.
It
Oh,
was,
is
yeah,
he?
Will was. Yeah.
Ah, okay. They literally weren't machining at all 2 years ago, and now they've got five machines.
More than that now, and they're actually looking at their 7th machine, and they've got
Seventh machine.
a good range. So they've got everything from horizontal, Y-axis lathe, UMC. They've not messed about with entry-level stuff. They've gone.
They
for
love your machine.
Multi-axis. They do, and actually, it's not just the machines they love. They love the approach, the simplicity, the commonality of control, the
Yeah.
support. Because you're right, Lindsay. They knew nothing about machining 2 years ago, so they've actually been able to engage with the brand and get a lot of help from us and people that work
It's that
with us.
education you've given
Yeah,
them. It's
absolutely,
like that
yeah.
value added. Yeah.
He's a bit of a genius, isn't he, old
He is.
William?
Oh, absolutely. He's got a head the size of a planet.
It's a bit like our Rowan.
Well, Rowan is really impressed me this week. Just
Yeah,
phenomenal. I think
yeah.
his head is the size of 2 planets.
Yeah.
He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I just want to touch on one thing. We were talking to Andrew Stevens earlier, and it was great to finally meet him in the flesh. The growth, we'd be talking about growth of companies. Haas has not been around that long. You'd think they've been around forever, but the growth in the UK, just in the UK, has been absolutely phenomenal, hasn't it, Jane?
Well, it has, and actually, you say that Haas haven't been around that long. Three people, well, Andrew set that company up, but the three owners of the company now are the same three owners that set it up, 32 years ago now. So we have actually been probably one of the most consistent machine tool companies in the UK for over 3 decades. Lots of other brands have been around for a long time, but they've merged, evolved, changed. Haas has remained consistent. So.
But in that 32 years, in the grand scheme of things, is not a long time, but the growth that you've achieved in 32 years is astronomical. That was the point I was trying to make there.
Yeah.
It is just phenomenal. I mean, the figures speak for themselves, the numbers speak for themselves.
You're doing something right.
Well, and I think a lot of that is to do with the economy of scale approach of Haas anyway, because every machine that's out there, as I mentioned before, 11,500 machines now into the UK, they've all got the same control, the same control layout. So it's an easy brand to re-engage with, continue to engage with. Operators find it easy to move to a Haas because they've worked one, and that's helped the growth exponentially. The other thing as well is we very much stick to, our Haas stand this week, for example, we've only got 4 machines on there. However, if you've got a VF machine, one of our key vertical VMCs, we go from VF1 to VF14. We've got a VF4 on the stand. That represents all of the VF range, so we've covered it.
Yeah.
It's obviously there's derivatives. We've got a UMC 500, one of the most popular 5-axis machines in recent times is our UMC range. That's represented. Y-axis lathe is represented. The ubiquitous mini mill is there, and it's easy then to say, what's Haas about? Well, if you can get your head around these 4 machines, you can grow into the rest of the range.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it is.
And I must admit, I was fortunate enough to go to the Haas factory. Didn't think I'd ever get to go to the Haas factory, but I was blown away.
Yeah, we really wanted to go, didn't we? We wanted to go. We'd like to go, wouldn't we? We'd like to go. Yeah.
You wouldn't have liked to have gone, would you, Lynn?
There's some other people who'd like to have gone on that trip.
Nah. Something, is it like, is it 15,000 machines a month? It's something ridiculous.
Yeah, and growing. I mean, the factory's capable of producing 80 machines a day.
Just incredible.
And we use a lot of Haas machines to make Haas machines, but not exclusively, because we're a business. So there's a huge bank of Akumas, for example. So there's some Mazaks in there. It's about the right tool for the job that's fit for purpose, and that reflects our market. Adding
to that, which is lovely, is at WAF Group. They had a machine, and it was a Haas machine, and their first one, I can't remember.
First one was a mini mill.
Mini mill, and then they just said, we were pushing it and we pushed it too much, so you were like, no, let's come in with this one, this is where you need to do this. And so you're actually always, like you're saying, there's a tool for every single job, and so you've got that solution, so you're not sitting there going, oh, it's only us. It's a case of saying, no, this is your solution.
Well, I always like to use the analogy that Haas is a brand that is easy to grow into. So if you're an entry-level machine shop that have never had any CNC experience, the temptation to buy something that's very easy to get on and program on day one is absolutely there. Totally get that. But you soon then realise you have to move to the next level. You then grow out of the programming language or the controller. You grow out of that range quickly and move to somebody else. With Haas, because it's the same control and it's powerful on our entry-level machines, right up to the 5-axis stuff, you just grow into it. Yeah. And it's dead easy.
Touching on the point Lindsay made there, you don't mess around with them machines. He's pushing them to the absolute limits. I mean, the metal removal rates on hard-to-cut materials is absolutely smashing it, isn't he?
He said to me today, though, he still misses his mini mill. He saw our mini mill and went, I still like it, it's cute.
He's achieving impressive results, it's fair to say.
He is, yeah.
My big thing with Haas, there's thousands of people with Haas machines in their garage, and it's all through the spectrum to parts that go on a Formula One car. In fact, you own a Formula One blooming team, do you know what I mean? So it's not an SME machine, it's not an OEM machine, it's a machine from colleges, from students to home users, all the way up to a Formula One company.
Absolutely, it's a proper grown-up machine that is fit for purpose, and we stress that all the time, that term fit for purpose. If you give us an application that our machine is not capable of doing, we'll tell you. The last thing we want to do is sell you a machine that you'll end up resenting because it won't hold a certain tolerance on a certain intermittent cut or something like that. We know what our machines are capable of doing, and we don't oversell them.
James, thank you so much for joining us.
One more. Favourite bit of Matt. Favourite moment, favourite bit, something you've really liked.
It's always the reunion, I think. Mac's like that. I've been coming to Mac for more decades than I care to mention because it ages me. But yeah, I think meeting the same people that we've known for years, it's always nice.
Is it everyone said so? Everyone said it.
Cliche,
I think reconnecting is going to be the word from this one, especially.
All of that. It's a unique opportunity. So yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Brilliant. Any more, Lindsay?
No. I'm happy. I'm just sitting here. I'm happy.
So you were going to ask me Formula One stuff? Is that
Oh yeah, you were. Go on then. Formula One.
They're doing well this season, aren't they?
They're doing
doing
well.
Talk us through the season so far.
Well, I reckon this year could be a game changer for us. The stars will have to line up, but it's well known that the Haas car has an awful lot of Ferrari technology in. Ferrari are doing well, Haas are doing well, but with Kevin Magnussen coming back into the fold, I think he's going to be a great coach for young Schumacher, and if the right circumstances allow, we could get a podium. That's my prediction.
Come on.
If we do, that is a game changer. Imagine a Haas up there on the podium, that logo.
Be pretty cool.
There's an awful lot of customers that have invested into that brand, and they will feel complicit in that moment, and good for them. Thank them for investing, and it's part of it. It's quite a nice thing to have.
Yeah, it's a big name.
Yeah.
You know what, as well, like with Formula One and being part of it, it's just opened that world up to people understanding a little bit more. Who are Haas? Who are they? What do they do? And even my husband said, "Oh, I know Haas."
Exactly.
And
Exactly. And I have
really
to say,
good.
for the brand, it has been beyond what certainly we in the UK expected. Obviously, we know about the F1 industry in the UK uniquely for the rest of the world. It's a very intelligent F1 fan base in the UK. So I won't use the word cynical, but we were cautious about where our F1 team was going to take us when it was announced that we were going to have one. As we sit here today, it has absolutely catapulted the branding.
See?
And then people will, like this week, people have come over to our stand because they now know about Haas.
There you go.
What are these machines about? And that's
Works.
great, because we can then segue them into, well, what are you doing? How can we help you? How can we help you then, take control of your process? Why sub it out? You can have one of these. We'll help you get up and running. And working with education, there's loads I could talk about, but that's for future videos.
Coming soon.
Yeah,
coming soon. As Josh says. No,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll just have to have that trip, won't we, Gio? We'll get on that
You're
one.
Get me a few diazepam.
You're welcome anytime.
He's not good at flying.
You want a factory tour around California? We can organise that. No problem.
We'll record that. It's all
Thanks for
recorded,
joining us,
yeah.
James.
You're welcome.
Really
James.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's James Leach of Haas Automation, everybody. Right, coming up next, we've got Brooke from Fanuc UK. If we can find her. Oh, here we go. Brooke,
How the devil are you?
how are we doing?
How
How are things?
Going all right.
Good, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I think last time we saw you, well, certainly me, it was at your open house. What an event that was. Tell us about that.
Yes, that was in November now. It seems like a long time ago, actually. Definitely keeping us busy, Hannah. Thanks, James. Sorry, there you go.
Thank you.
Definitely keeping us busy. The last one was first week in November, I think the open house was.
And what a fantastic open house it was. I think that when we were doing the preparations for it, it was the first time that I'd met you, and it was the most successful open house that I've been to at Fanuc for. It was brilliant. It was a fantastic event, and looking at some great technology.
How about is it compare? Is that the correct term, Lindsay?
Yeah, awful compare it was, wasn't she? She was horrible.
Yeah, I don't think we'll use her for
No.
this year.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Brooke. I'll just go now. I'll go now. Yeah.
Joking aside, I don't know how many people were there, but it must have been one of the busiest open houses I've ever attended.
Yeah,
It
but
seemed
do
to
you
be
not
hundreds.
think, like, the timing of it, it's like all of these big events, and, like Southern and here, the timing, people are just wanting to get back, and so your timing was just perfect. And you had the education, you had the speakers, you had everything behind it as well. Sorry, I've totally just come into that conversation.
Brooke, how important is marketing for the engineering industry?
Okay. So I would think it's fair to say that I'm still relatively new to this industry. I only joined last summer, but I think it's really important that people see, firstly, how cool this industry really is. Am I not speaking loud enough for you? There you go.
Yeah. Well done.
How cool this industry really is, and the people that actually work here, I think people have a bit of a stereotype and they just think that everyone's an engineer and they don't really know much and they're not very chatty. But for us, marketing's really about putting a name and a face to the brand of Fanuc, and it's really important for us that we personalise the brand a bit more. And we've got a lot of people here on our stand, so we've made sure that we've got technical people, we've made sure we've got our sales managers, we've got our senior management from Europe over. We want people to know that people can just come over to Fanuc, you can talk to any of us and we're happy to cover it. I mean, I can't answer anything technical, but I'm happy to talk to you and point you in the right direction.
Exactly. I think with such a big brand though, you're always going to come up against it, because if the bigger you are and the more that you have under your umbrella, you've got to market that, and that's not easy either. But,
I think also, marketing, since COVID or even before COVID, the way in which engineers have marketed themselves in the past has been quite antiquated, in my opinion. And I think that it needed to change, and I think it is changing now, ultimately. I think COVID has accelerated that change because people have realised, how do we get our products to market? We need to get our products to market. And now all the decisions now, prior to people picking up the phone, 75% of decisions are made digitally, I believe, or approximately, not just in our industry, but all industry, before they pick up the phone and give you a call. They're doing their due diligence digitally, and it's absolutely imperative
100%.
To market your company properly.
100%. How's this week gone?
It's going well. It's going well so far. It's been nice to actually meet people again, because I think the last show we did was open house.
Yeah.
So I think that was 6 months ago now. So to not see customers, I know, 6 months ago. To not see customers, obviously, with me being office-based, I don't really get to see everyone that often. So it's nice to actually see people.
I think that's been the theme of the week, isn't it? Everyone's talking, the technology is great, it's been fantastic, but it's great to be in the building talking with colleagues and friends again.
Definitely.
Sorry, there's loads of people walking past constantly, so we're waving.
Apologies for the background noise as well. The stand's rather busy still, but
You're missing your lift home, Lindsay?
Yeah, he's my lift home. He's my my Uber's here. We went taxi. Basically, I don't want to walk the half an hour back to the hotel because I'm pregnant. So Steve Totty's kindly offered to give me a lift back. Keep going.
No, I'm just. It's the Lindsay Vickers show. Just wondering what.
Oh my God!
What the arm waving's for?
No, go away. Right.
So, what's your highlight of the week?
Oh, highlight of the week. I think it would be. For me, I obviously deal a lot with the editors, so it's really nice for me. I'm finding my feet a bit, and I can do like a walk around of the stand now. So I don't know if you guys have been over here. I know a couple of your colleagues have, but the idea for our stand was that we wanted to show that all of our products could work within a factory line together.
Yes.
So we've got like the Robo Drill, we've got the Robo Cut, but then we've got a CRX doing inspection at the end. So it was quite important for us that we did like almost like a story as you walk around.
Yeah.
So I think for me the highlight would be walking around with editors and telling that story and working our way around the stand. That's the highlight.
How it's all kind of interconnected.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's all the products are connected in some way.
Very well put. I make that 5 o'clock. Is that when we've got to finish? Are we allowed to overrun? Probably not.
We can overrun if you want. If you want to.
I can't see our director. Go on, another minute won't hurt, will it? Gio, what's been your highlight of the day so far?
I think there's been many highlights. I think meeting people has been my highlight, personal highlight. Getting back and meeting so many people that I haven't seen for a long time, especially because it's not the same talking on a phone or on these Teams meetings. It isn't the same. Another highlight, my young cousin come today. She wants to get into engineering. She's a girl. She's still doing her A-level, so taking her around and introducing her into the industry and to some of the people I know was brilliant. I loved it. I was really proud. I think it's a great.
This is a wrap up. Yeah.
I think it's a great industry, and I think it's been a good week.
What you just said.
How about you, Lindsay?
I just said. I think I'm going to go all soppy on you now. No, I'm not. I just think I'm really proud to be part of an industry where everyone's so genuine, and I think people are kind of becoming friends now, and that doesn't happen overnight. I hope it happens over a period of time. We've had COVID. It was great. I was sitting there. Randy Seuss from Bedford CNC came over and he had a chat. People have waved. People have just, and it's a really enjoyable industry to be part of. That's all I'm saying. You can wipe away the tears now,
I couldn't
Joe.
put it better myself. I'm getting waved at. We got to finish.
And you're even getting lifts back to the hotel with Steve Totty.
No, I mean, what could be better than that? The walk on the first day was horrific. I'm not doing it again. Is that or a cab?
Brooke, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
Hopefully-
lovely to get you on camera, Brooke, because you didn't like it. You did it when we did the Panic Open House.
Yeah, but
didn't
you don't normally put me on live. You normally let me do a few takes.
No
so
chance.
I'm
She's
on the
good
spot
enough.
now.
You're good enough. Yeah.
Okay. I'm being told in my ear we've got one more very special guest. Colin, where are you?
I will stop.
Yeah, thank you,
Nice
Brooke.
to see you.
Yeah, lovely to see you.
Look,
Yeah,
See you later.
we'll set the C5 over here. Are you in a
So that is Brooke of Fanuc. Thank
This
you
is a
so
special
much
guest.
for joining us. I've been told you're next, Colin.
It's special guest.
You're next on the podcast. We got 5 minutes. You're eating into your
5
own
minutes, I can
time.
bore everything. Don't worry, it's live, Steve. Don't worry.
It's not live. It's not live. It's fine.
Colin,
Special
what
guest.
have you been up
Special
to?
and Colin guest.
I'm just telling what the director told me in my ear. But it's
Fortunately,
tell us about your day.
Fortunately, I have come fully prepared. Absolutely nothing. What do you want to know?
Just what you've been up to today in 4 minutes, if you don't mind.
Absolutely nothing. I was herding the cats this morning. We were on the Makino stand, and poor old Chloe was nervous. Is that the right word?
She was brilliant in the end, though.
No, let me finish. She
Oh, go
was
on.
nervous beforehand, did all her prep, absolutely fantastic. Learned all about EDM sync, and
Yeah,
she's
EDM
now
sync.
a legend at it.
She really enjoyed
And
it.
you saw the relief once she'd finished, but she was brilliant, wasn't
She's
she?
buzzing after.
Colin, she was on this podcast earlier on, and she was describing certain products from Hamer, from Lang, and her knowledge is brilliant. And now in the way in which she explained the products,
I taught her everything she knows.
Fantastic. So she definitely didn't learn from you.
Brutal. I tell you what we did do, and Chloe, not only is she a master of workholding solutions and EDM now, but we went and filmed for Joe, because he reckoned he was busy. We did some Lang stuff, and the stuff they've got there is absolutely brilliant. So they've got the device, and I can't remember what it's called. I do apologise, Gareth and Danny. What's their main
They've
device?
got that vacuum one as well, the vacuum mat.
No, that was a different one, I think.
They were when Chloe on, she was talking about the Robo-Tracks, which is running at loads the 5-axis device into the machine using the Fanuc
right.
robot solution.
So they've got a big work holding now, up to 810 millimeters, nice and simple, and you just pop it out with a little magnetic fixture, repeatable, accurate, 10 microns, absolutely love it. They've got, shall I give it? I don't know if I should give this away. Shall I give it away?
What's that?
Well, I
Oh,
can't
it's
give it away,
like-
can I?
Is it secret?
It's automation by Lang.
Oh,
That's all I'm going to say. Watch the video. It's
go
coming
to
soon.
the stand, watch the
Go,
video.
honestly, it's brilliant. You don't need a robot arm, you don't need a bar feed or anything like that. Go and find out. Go speak to the guys there. It's absolutely brilliant. But I am super excited because we're down to 4 minutes. I've only got 1 minute to go.
Yeah, and this is tomorrow's your last day at MACH, isn't it?
It is, because I've got a long-standing holiday. So everybody please know that I won't be here Friday.
Yes.
So I'm sorry to...
And I will say, Colin has worked as hard as anyone this week.
So
and
I've done not a
and
lot.
his main job has been in charge of catering after the show. And tonight's my favourite, Las Iguanas.
Las Iguanas, yes, I do. I love a nice Chinese, because it's Chinese, isn't it? But tomorrow we can't go out having too many beverages tonight, because tomorrow, guess what
Is
we're
the
doing?
dinner.
More live streams. Do you know what we're doing? Have you got one?
I'm the presenter. I'm asking you. What have we got on next? What have we got on tomorrow?
We are the first thing I am doing Dugard. I'm not doing it on my own. I'm doing it with the lovely Paul Jones, who's over there. Got ya. But I'm going to be talking about SMEC and Hanwha. What are you going to be talking about, Lindsay?
I'm doing it. I don't. My brain is fried.
Yeah, fried.
Go
So
on.
we're at
I'll give you the lineup. Don't
talking
worry.
about all their work holding solutions.
They're
robotic-
selling time, aren't they?
Aren't we
Good
all?
idea, good way to sell it. Yeah.
Aren't we all? But yeah, we're going to be talking about automation solutions, including a deburring station, an ABB solution. It's going to be another busy day.
So I'll just give you the heads up. So 9:30 is Dugard, 11:30 is Interco, Shunk is at 1:30, and then Chester Machine Tools is at 3:30. There you go.
Half past.
Lucky.
Half past.
Half past.
I've
Lucky
got-
someone's organised.
well, sometimes.
Yeah, so for the people at home, we're about to finish this podcast, but please do ask questions, and we will come back to you at some time, either on that channel or bring them up tomorrow on the podcast. But Phil Crawley, Tim Patterson, James Leake, Steve from LK, Brooke from Fanuc, Colin, Gio, Rowan, thank you all for your time today.
And Lindsay.
Did I not say Lindsay?
I don't think he did.
Well, Lindsay's on set and Gio's on set. So, yeah, thank you to all. But as always, the biggest thank you is to you guys, our community at home, for taking your precious time to watch this podcast. We will be back tomorrow. So from the NEC, have a great night.